Self-directed teams. What are these? These are a group of individuals who, with delegated powers, working together for long or short-term goals. Or if you want, groups of people who can decide by themselves. Remember that we have just seen that autonomy is one of the main aspects of work design. It enriches the job. It enhances skills because they have to be facing problems and solving them, and raises the quality of life of employees. It's a very powerful motivating tool. Now, some limitations of labor diversification. First, the high cost of capital, because you need to invest more. There are also individual differences. You can't avoid them. Some people are better for some jobs than others. Also, high wages. It will end up costing more. On the other hand, we will need less labor reserves, because if people know how to do everything, they can be switched or changed or go to strengthen a process when it's needed. Something that happens is that there's an increase in the accident rate. So take your measures to control damages. There are companies that have managed to reduce the accident rate to zero, essentially. But they have worked very hard at doing it. And also, we need to know that current technology may not lend itself to diversification of work. Sometimes the machines that we have are made just for one thing, period. And there's only one kind of operator who can use it. Now, let's go on to motivation and incentive systems. One is bonuses, of course. If you do this, you get your bonus. And everybody loves a good bonus. But also we can work with profit sharing. And with profit sharing, we have two different approximations. On one hand, it can be permanent or circumstantial. Permanent meaning I'm giving you some shares, and that's permanent. Sometimes a circumstance is because you have made this, let's say, a form of a bonus is more shares. Yes, or sometimes we have reached this sales and we're going to give everybody a part of this profit. Okay, but there are also, as profit sharing, there's another point of view where they are used as incentive systems or they are used as production-based systems. So profit sharing is it's something that has a lot of complexities, and it depends again on your reality, on the organization that you are in, how do you work, the culture, the country, everything. Even tax-related aspects get into this. And finally, there are some skills-based motivation systems. That is, when you certify yourself in some skills, you get an advance in your career. Now let's go on to the next part. Ergonomics. And this is something that is very, very interesting. This is not on the book. This is something that I've had to develop on my own. Because ergonomics, the definition is the science studying the relationship between man and machine. Yes. But that relationship between man and machine can be seen in three different areas. One is senses. That is, here the goal is to use the minimum of a stimulus to achieve the maximum possible reaction. You will see it, for example, in the cars. The dashboard usually is not lit up so brightly that it dazzles you. they will try to put it as low as possible so as not to disturb you, but at the same time allow you to receive the information. Then we have location. Here the goal is to minimize the effort that must be made to get a job done. Let's go again with the car example. All controls must be as close as possible so that with the minimum movement of your hands you can access them. That's one of the reasons why most car manufacturers have been including more and more controls on the wheel, on the driving wheel, so that you can, without moving your hand, control music, whatever, from your from the driving wheel. And finally, we have environment. Here the goal is to maximize the worker's ability to be in one place and resist there. That's why we have heat, cold. In the seat we can put it upwards or downwards, towards the front, towards the back, movable seats, adjustable seats that they say. In any place that you go, when you have to analyze the relationship between man and machine, you will always have to keep in mind these three aspects: senses, location, and environment. Sometimes you will have to think about only one of them, sometimes about all three. But you need to know all these three aspects of ergonomics, all these three components of ergonomics. Now let's go on to work analysis. How do you do a work analysis? Well, there are several things. You can work with flow and process diagrams, with activity charts, with human movement charts. If what you're trying to do is very simple, perhaps you can do it. If not, hire a specialist, because these things can get very complicated very quickly. And sometimes you really need to do this analysis in order to be able to define better what you are paying for or the characteristics of the person that you need to hire. What can we say about visual systems in workplaces? Well, that they have several purposes. One is documenting the operations to be carried out, so that everybody checks out the board and they know what they need to do. Generally, it's transmitting information. Those visual systems helps us train, improve, and control ongoing operations. They are very, very simple and very, very effective. So you need to learn about what is going to be needed in the place where you will be working with. Now, work standards. That is the time intervals required to perform a job. Here, you must remember what Colin and Porras said regarding being rigorous. You need standards in order to be able to see if something is being complied with or not. You need to avoid being ruthless. One thing is being rigorous and another one is being ruthless. We don't need ruthless people. We need rigorous. Always. So, what have we seen in this video? We have covered from applicable restrictions, workforce planning, job classification, personal integration, personal management. We have covered all those in the cycle, in the personal management cycle. And we have talked a lot about work design, work enlargement, et al. Ergonomics, always remember senses, location and environment. Those three are critical for your analysis, so you must learn that ergonomics is all about those three: senses, location and environment. We have talked about work analysis, visual systems and work standards. That is all for today. I thank you for your attention, and we will be seeing each other in the following video of this series. Goodbye.